It's Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. This video is called Get Out of the Cities Now. Because I'm not trying to incite fear. You guys know that. We prep out of peace of mind out of fear here. But in all reality, as we've seen with this whole virus thing, where is it the hardest hit? It's always cities, high population dense areas. Same with any kind of, if there's any kind of violence surrounding the elections, where where is their violence? It's in the cities, population dense areas. SHTF happens. What's going to happen to the people in the cities? They're subject to city water, city power, going to the grocery store every day in their little apartments or something like that. And if you are in a little apartment in the city, I'm sorry, but do your best to get out, please. Move somewhere like this. And I'm not even in an ideal situation, far from what I call ideal. But at least, I live rural. I live on acreage. I'm surrounded by, some like-minded people, stuff like that, It's just population density. The more dense it gets, the more trouble you're in. Riots, crime, bad people, rioting, looting, all those kind of things, and being stuck in the city once things go down. It's going to be really difficult to get out. Cities are really easy to shut down. Usually they have pretty pretty decent choke points into and out of. Some cities are really sprawling, like LA. Okay, LA is so huge and so sprawled out that, obviously there's no choke points going into there. But some of the bigger cities are really easy to shut down and to control. And that's where, if anything goes down, where do you think they're going to try to control? Do you think they're going to send people out into the countryside to, control little farms or little, homesteads, and just all these people live out in the rural, out in the sticks? No. They're going to shut down the larger towns, the cities, and stuff like that. So I know it's tough. We got to work, we got to make a living, we got to support our families. But I've talked about this before. If you live somewhere because you're earning a high salary to maintain a certain standard of living, well, maybe think about, I'm not telling you what to do, but maybe think about changing your standard of living. Living in a smaller home, doing with less, not as new vehicles, not as fancy stuff, not the brand new biggest, flat panel TV, the brand new latest cell phone, new vehicles all the time. Maybe think about simplifying your life. It's really rewarding. I'll tell you that honestly, from my experience, is that working out here in the garden on my property and stuff like that, walking around, scouting my property, spending just out time connecting with nature, is really good for you. It's really good for the soul. And I'm not some nature dude that goes out and hugs trees all the time. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying reconnect with nature. It's just really good for the soul. It's just living rural, living simple can give you so much. I don't know how to put it. It's just, sorry about this. I'm just trying to get out an idea and trying to figure out how to encourage you guys and empower you with the ideas and the knowledge to get out of the cities. Stuff is going to go down. We're not headed for anything good. And people that are stuck in cities are just going to, they're really going to suffer. There's going to be a lot of death, a lot of suffering in cities. More rural you are, the better, to an extent. If you're so remote where the next, there's two people within, 200 miles of you, well, that's not ideal, because then you can't have a MAG, mutual assistance group, team, tribe, crew, whatever you want to call it. Be in a rural area around good people. If you look at the rural areas of the United States, and it's hard to put a number on it. It's hard to put it in a classification or something like that. But usually country people are pretty darn good people. I'm not saying they're all perfect. No. But they just, this simple life, work in your own land, playing with your kids, involving your kids, teaching them as you're doing it is just, I mean, it's so rewarding. And then you can, if you get to the point where you're self-sustainable to as best you can, I mean, self-reliant and stuff, independent of the system of the powers that be, then the less control and the less they have you under their thumb. So, it's this. I guess this is just an encouragement. Try to get people to try to think and try to make the move. I did a video recently about the readout concept. Some people didn't like the fact that it was, they used the term Christian in their little blurb, but that's their thing. I mean, that's what they chose to do. The idea of a readout, though, like-minded people living in rural areas is great. I mean, and somebody else pointed out like-hearted, not like-minded, because the mind is free. It's all individual. That's a very good point to make. Like-hearted, moral structure, moral values, coming from the same place. That's a really good point of view. I really like that. So I wouldn't focus too much on the areas I mentioned and the use of Christianity or Christian, because we all look at it differently. There's people, that I would call Christian, but they don't call themselves Christian. They're believers in Christ. And even if you're not, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. Okay? There's good people that aren't necessarily believers. I feel it's important, though. I mean, it's important to me. So, I don't tell you guys what to do. We all have free will. And I'm not going to, tell you you're wrong for, not, you got to find Christ, you got to find Jesus and thump my Bible and stuff like that. I'm not like that at all. I'm a firm believer in free will. And because I answer to Him and only Him, and so do you. You don't answer to me, vice versa. So you do you. But please, find a way to move rural, Get a job making less money. Get a house that costs less, though. Vehicles that cost less. I can't speak for everybody, but I'm pretty sure most people would be happier living a simpler life. Downsizing all your stuff. The minimalist movement, I don't know. I mean, I like the idea. It's just where most of them are coming from. The tiny homes, minimalist movement, stealth camping and all that stuff like that. That's not really my thing. But the idea of not having just a bunch of junk weighing you down is awesome. The simple living, the living off the land. I mean, it's so healthy for you. You're out there, you're working, you're exercising, you're moving your body, you're producing your own food that's just super healthy and way better for you than the chemical-laden foods from grocery stores and modified genetically and, all this stuff. And I'm not saying GMOs are all bad. Some things, they have to be modified a little bit. I think you get my gist, though. Yeah, I mean, and producing your own animals and slaughtering them yourselves. That's important. It's that connection to your food. That connection to your food that helps you it's a much more fulfilling way of life. And everybody may not agree with me. But I hope this encourages you guys to, get out of the cities. They're going to be very, very, very dangerous places to be. I would not want to be in a city. I hate cities like MOUT, which is military operations and urban terrain. It's just CQB all the time, head on a swivel. It's just, I mean, your head's always on a swivel, of course, in that environment, in a military environment. But, oh man, threats can come from so many different places, and it's almost impossible. I mean, it's such a dangerous place. I've seen cities that are in chaos, and trust me, you don't want to be there. They are very, very bad places to be. And that switch is always on, where you don't have a chance to relax. So, please, think about it. Get your finances in order. Move out. Move to these rural places like I talked about, like Idaho, Wyoming, the Ozarks, the Appalachian Mountains, different places like that. There's a lot of good places, and that's just to name a couple. It's not, there's a lot of good places in the United States. Pretty much any rural area of any state, you're going to find good people. It's just what state you're in, you're still under the thumb of the cities. So remember where you move. Oklahoma area, like over where TJ's at. That's really good. I love the way he put that one saying. He said, Oklahoma is everything Texas thinks it is. That was a really good saying, because Texas is just, I love Texas, and you know a lot of things about Texas. It's just I don't even know if they're not red anymore. They're kind of purplish now, turning blue, and they're not really standing for what I think Texas stands for. And I'm not knocking Texas at all. I know if I do, I'll get hellfire will rain down upon me, and all the Texans will jump on here and bite my head off. You know, I love Texas. I really thought about moving there for a while. It's just kind of shifted. You know, analyzing things and looking at things. I'm really looking at the Ozark area. That's where we want to be. So we're we're already working. We've been working this weekend on stuff that will get us there sooner. So I encourage you guys to make the move wherever you find is best for you. And ask yourself or ask him, where are you called to be? Maybe you'll get an answer. Prep a little every day, and prep at a peace of mind and a fear. I love you guys, and blessings to you and yours.